As our style evolves, often we pick up new tools, tips and tricks that we can use that make our outfits feel more interesting, more unique, and more like us. And I wanted to share with you today the 7 style lessons that I learned that completely transformed my style. And I feel like it's worth noting that to some extent, our style journey is always going to be a work in progress because there is no true finish line. So the very first style lesson that I learned, which transformed my style entirely, was proportions, and more so how I could use my proportions to enhance and highlight certain elements and then disguise others that I wanted to conceal. So despite my height being 172 centimeters or 5'8" tall, I do find that I have short legs comparatively to my torso. I also tend to carry more of my weight around my hips or my bum. This is genetic, my mum was the same way, so if I put on weight, that's the first place that I'm going to notice a difference. So I'm often thinking about how I can create visual illusions to get a sense of balance in my proportions, both by making my legs look longer, but also I want to disguise the part of my hips where they do dip out slightly, as it can create an awkward break in my outfit as evidenced by the initial look. And there's a couple of different ways I could approach this. One, I could swap the jacket out for something else, for something that is longer, that falls below the hip or below my widest point. This really helps to de-emphasize my hips, which creates a long through line while still accentuating the waist because I have worn a high contrast pairing with the white top and the black pants. You can see the difference on screen between the two jackets. Both fall below the hip, but one is slightly longer than the other. I could also swap out the jacket entirely for a sweater, something that is really kind of oversized and relaxed, and this plays with the idea of slim and big proportions, which is one of those age-old style tricks. And also this knit does hit below my hip. It also doesn't dip in towards my legs, it's more straight cut through the body, which I think helps to de-emphasize the hips. Or alternatively, I could swap out the slim trousers for something that is a little bit looser through the leg, that has more of a dramatic feel. So I've opted for the Cassia raw denim wide leg jeans here from Fabrique, which are designed by Rebecca Buck, and the combination of the high-waisted silhouette with the wide leg fit through the leg helps to create more of a flattering fit on the body when styling this shorter jacket, which would otherwise cut me off at one of my widest points. The next style lesson I learned is that basics don't have to be boring. I think when we are building our wardrobes from scratch, we have this idea in our mind that when we are seeking out those basics, those foundation pieces in our wardrobe, that they should be very simple, very plain, kind of the most watered down version of an item that you might be able to find out there. So a white tee really is just a white tee, very straight cut crew neck. Maybe a tank is, again, crew neck with either a wide or a narrow strap, but there's no other flourishes or details to it that feel eye-catching or interesting. And yes, these are great items to have in your wardrobe. They really do a lot and they have a huge function, a big role to play. However, when you are pairing a lot of these more basic items together, you may feel like your outfit just feels really boring, like it falls a little bit flat. Or you may just experience a sense of fatigue because you're not getting any visual impact from the outfit. And I think in part, this is one of the big problems with the homogeneity of capsule wardrobes, and it's why I really have been trying to debunk those over on my Substack, which if you aren't reading it yet, it's always linked down in my description box. But essentially you set the rules, you set the tone for what your basics look like. While yes, you could go for something very simple, I think adding in pieces that do have a little bit of a flourish, more of a stylistic component, will make for better outfits overall. And I've got a few examples here. So where a basic tank is concerned, I have this really beautiful black top from Koto, which drapes across the body. It's also wider cut across the shoulders. So even paired with the same simple jeans, it feels a lot more heavily styled despite there being no other elements, no accessories to amp up the outfit. The same goes for this white tank. When I swap it out for this linen top from Faithful, this has an exaggerated peplum style effect, which looks really interesting and it creates a different silhouette, something that is unexpected. Maybe it's not leaning into the idea of what we're expecting for something that is overly flattering, but I think very fun, and the texture of the linen also adds a little bit of impact too. And we can also do this using our third piece or our jackets, and this part of the video does include a paid-for integration with Fabrique. I'm really excited to be working with them again, which if you're not already familiar with Fabrique, it is a designer collective brand. So they partner with more than 300 exceptional designers from across the world. I'm going to put some of them on screen, a few names you may already recognize, who have worked at some of the biggest fashion houses in the world. They tap into this unbelievable talent and offer really unique, distinctive pieces that you're not going to find anywhere else. And you will see some pieces from Fabrique scattered throughout this video, and you can use my code 2JAMIE, which will be on screen and down in the description box below, along with links to everything that I've shared, to get 12% off your order if anything does catch your eye or you've seen something else on the website that you like. So I have a couple of iterations on the classic barn jacket, which to me feel really designed, very fashion forward and really interesting. The first is designed for Fabrique by Jesper Börjesson, and he's the founder of Arket, which I know many of you will be familiar with, and he's also designed for the Victoria Beckham and Reebok collection. What I love about this jacket is that it adds a high shine element, a real sense of texture to the outfit, plus you have that faux shearling collar which is replicated in the cuffs, and you can fold these up to bring in a bit more visual interest to your outfit. This is a great way to amplify your look by bringing in texture to an otherwise traditionally classic piece. Alternatively, you could switch up the silhouette and go for something that is a bit more exaggerated in shape, like this cropped barn jacket designed by Sina Stanek. They're former McQueen visionaries. It kind of upgrades the classic barn jacket with these oversized, exaggerated, engineered sleeves, which to me are the defining detail of this jacket. But I also love the corduroy collar and the fact that you've got the corduroy accent on the cuffs as well to the interior of the sleeve, which you can either conceal or reveal depending on how you want to style your outfit. Or we could play up the classic trench, like the Sita water and dirt resistant trench designed by Maya Godjeberits. She is the founder of Material and has been featured in Vogue and Elle. The thing I like about this trench is that it has a really fashion forward shape. It's still belted so you can cinch in the waist and create that really lovely hourglass effect, but it has the most stunning plaid trim detail both around the collar and also on the cuffs, which you can either reveal or conceal. You can really allow that to shine by wearing the collar open like I have here. The cotton on this piece has been treated. It's triple protection cotton, so it's water, oil and stain resistant, and it's a really lightweight piece. And the final trench I wanted to highlight is the Cassian short trench coat. This is in a water repellent cotton blend, and it does have that lovely cord detail, which I love. It feels very autumnal, and you can remove that if you wish. This is quite an exaggerated silhouette. This was designed by Da Wei, Cacharel's first Chinese creative director, which I think is pretty phenomenal. And yeah, I think you can see that this adds that interesting silhouette to an outfit. So those were just a handful of the items I wanted to highlight from Fabrique. You can really see how those design elements make each piece feel so special, and I will have everything linked below. 2JAMIE gets you 12% off. Next is to create friction in your outfit, and what I mean by this is to have some sort of opposing elements. And I wore an outfit the other week which I think really embodied the sense of friction, and I'm going to show you how I would not style it compared with how I did wear the look. So starting with this really voluminous skirt, this is full length, it feels very feminine. And by styling with a ladylike jacket, I'm really leaning into that feminine element, which is highlighted and emphasized further by the pointed toe shoe and also the smooth, quite structured handbag. It feels quite polished, it feels very serious, and overall this just looks a little bit too ladylike for my personal taste and style. I love a sense of femininity in my outfits, but often I tend to reflect that more so in the way that I do my hair and my makeup. So I wanted to dial things back a bit by creating that sense of tension and adding in opposites to the look. So I decided to dial it down by bringing in more casual elements like a really oversized t-shirt. I chose to wear that untucked. When we tuck things in, it adds a sense of refinement. It feels more polished and more done up. Leaving something loose automatically feels more casual. I also swapped out the shoe for a sandal that has more of a squared off toe. The pointed toe does feel really sharp, but it leans into that more polished aspect. It is in a satin though, so we do have that sense of luxury and elegance still reflected there. I've also swapped the bag out for something that does have a beautiful shape, but it has more of an organic woven texture, which adds something different to the outfit. So you can really see how by injecting friction to my outfit, I've completely transformed the way it looks and feels. And you can do this in so many different ways, both with the formality level and also the style of the garments that you're wearing. The next style lesson that I learned was differentiating between warm and cool toned items and understanding when and where to wear them. I find that wearing the same undertone in an outfit is going to feel the most harmonious and the most cohesive. And I've got a really good example here that I wanted to share. So I have these two sweaters, both from Fabrique, both in a cable knit design, but when you put them side by side, you can really see a difference in the temperature of the item. One is more of a neutral to warm colored gray, whereas the other one is more of a cooler blue toned gray. So I wanted to show you how each look with these cool toned trousers that I have. When I wear the Jenna oversized cable knit sweater, which is in a yak wool blend, you can see that the warmth in this really doesn't match and doesn't blend into the cooler tone of the trousers. It's much better paired with a camo print skirt that I have, which leans much more neutral to ever so slightly warm. By contrast, this Fabric Essential Merino Cashmere knit is more of that cool toned grey. So you can see that it almost looks to be one with the grey trousers. It's a really harmonious look. Nothing looks off or wrong. Another really important style lesson I learned was the value of texture and how much depth this can add to an outfit. You'll have heard me mention this so many times, especially when it comes to monochromatic dressing, and that's going to be the example that I share with you because I think it really illustrates how impactful that this can be. So for the first outfit, I've gone for all flat pieces. So a matte flat long sleeve top and a matte flat long sleeve skirt. And I'm going to keep the accessories the same because they're not really what need to change here, although that can transform your outfit. But it is worth noting, once you're sitting at your desk or you're kind of just wandering about, you've lost your bag for the day, you've put that down, then you probably want to bring that sense of texture into the elements that you're enclosed in, that you're actually going to be wearing at all times. I swapped out both the top and the skirt for maximum impact, but really you only need to bring in one element of texture. So I've gone for a sweater in heathered black, which has a ribbed texture to it, but also the alpaca yarn gives a fuzzy, furry feeling to the knit. Then we have the skirt, which is a brocade, and this actually changes the shape of the silhouette slightly because it gives the skirt more structure. So it feels like more of a stronger shape as opposed to something that has more flow, like the tailored skirt I had on initially. This immediately feels more interesting and just adds a real sense of dimension to your outfit, and you can replicate this using any sort of texture. And it's worth noting, even textures like silk, if you're wearing head to toe silk, it will come off feeling a little bit flat because it's not being broken up by anything. Same goes for head to toe wool, head to toe denim, and you can use things like brooches, necklaces, belts, or even bracelets, watches to help bring in the sense of texture to your outfit. So don't feel like you have to be limited to what you're wearing on your top or your lower half. I think we all remember millennial minimalism, black, white, and grey. Those were the neutrals. And realizing that neutrals are so much more than black, white, grey, navy, or beige, I think really can expand your repertoire and expand the options that you have in your wardrobe, creating outfits that visually feel really interesting and are so dynamic. Probably one of my personal favorite neutrals is brown in all of its iterations. I've got rich chocolate browns, and then I've got more desaturated, darker, kind of difficult to pinpoint the exact value of them. And it's really these colors that we have trouble explaining that I think make the perfect neutrals, as they're unexpected and tend to be incredibly versatile. And I feel like Amy Smilovic, who's the creative director of Tibi, explains this incredibly well. I have a few examples here from my own wardrobe, which I think illustrate how easy it can be to pair all of these neutrals together. And burgundy is actually another great one that we're seeing a lot. And it's also worth noting that these neutrals can come in at both ends of the depth spectrum, so they can be really deep and dark or really quite light in tone. So probably two of my favorite t-shirts at the moment that reflect this mood are this kind of minty sage light grey, concrete, sort of a mix of all of these different colors. It's an oversized t-shirt and it really does seem to work with everything that I own in my wardrobe. I also have this slightly yellowy lemonade butter cream colored t-shirt with a super drop shoulder, and I like that these have these interesting colors, but also they feel really chill, both the color and the silhouette. The trousers from Dish I think are brilliant, and then the little 80 flats, but I think you can see overall how this is a toned pareback outfit that is very minimal. There's not much going on here. This is something I would wear when I'm hanging out with my kids on a Thursday or a Friday, but it also just feels a little bit more interesting than if I was going head to toe all black or wearing white, black and grey. And that really is where the value of the style lesson lies for someone like me or anyone who does tend to prefer more of those calmer tones in their wardrobe. The final style lesson that I wanted to share is that silhouettes can transform an outfit. And what I mean by this is that you can have a uniform and it be a really steady uniform that you know you can rely on. But when you don't have any options, any variation, you have zero range. You have one particular look. But I think also it's where we can use shape just to enhance a really simple feeling outfit. So for example, I quite like a little bit of width, a bit of volume on my lower half. I think that that's a really fun way to play around with shape. So I am looking out for trousers, skirts, shorts that do have a little bit more of a voluminous impact. You can see how the switch from something that is really slim, classic, traditional to something that does have a little bit more of that stylistic quality in terms of the shape. It just adds something different to the outfit and can make a simple base feel a little bit more interesting. A great way to transform your outfit, especially when you're focused on very minimal styling. Those are all the lessons I've learned that I feel have really transformed my style over the years. I'm really sure that there are more, but I feel like this is a great starting point. If you have anything else you'd like to add, please do share down in the comments below. If anything from Fabrique caught your eye, you can use my code to Jamie to get 12% off your order. If you did enjoy it, please do give this video a thumbs up as it does help me with the algorithm, and I will see you next time with a brand new video. See you very soon. Bye.